Any other councilman? Councilman Jones.
Welcome, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you.
First thing I want to ask about is TVA's decision to directly drill for wells here as opposed to using MLG&W for your source of water for the plant that's coming up here. You know, I would think that with MLG&W being your largest customer, I, for one, am not totally familiar with all of or how vast TVA's operations are here, but I just saw that as not the way that you take care of your biggest customer. When you have an opportunity to go directly through your largest customer to say, we appreciate you as a way, when we have the choice, we go through your biggest customer. So can you expound about how that decision was made to bypass that?
Yeah. You know, the first idea was we were going to use gray water from the waste system, which we have used in some part of the coal. Two things about that. The gray water was much grayer than we knew. And the plant we built out there, our building, is the Rolls-Royce Lamborghini. That is the most technically advanced plant in the world, that gas plant. As a result of that, the water chemistry, not the business, this might not make any sense to you, but the water chemistry of the water you put into the plant is really, really important. And so when we couldn't use the gray water, we then looked, remember our job, lowest feasible rate. What is the least cost way to do this? Was to drill on the wells. We had some conversations from MLGW. Frankly, if I had it to do over, I'd probably have done something else, as you would suggest. Because it has turned out in a different way, and I'll get to that point. But, you know, the water from MLGW and the water from our wells is coming from the same operation. It's coming maybe a couple miles apart. So I don't think there's any particular threat from our wells at the time we drilled. But what's the old saying? It seemed like a good idea at the time. We'll do it differently today. We are going to become the biggest gas customer, and we might become the water customer. The finding of the arsenic out there changed the game, because we don't know how it got there or who put it there. We don't. It's in concentrations never ever seen by hundredfold in ash. There's some other constituents that you never find in ash, like fluoride. We don't know how that. But that really doesn't matter at the moment. What matters at the moment is it doesn't go anywhere, right? So we're as interested in protecting the aquifer as anybody. So we are currently using MLG&W water to test the plant. Now, when the time comes, if that's what we need to do to run it, that's what we will do.
Can you talk about what the difference would have been as far as the larger expense of going through MLG&W versus directly?
I'll have to get back. I knew that at one point, but I can tell you that.
Because the reason that I asked, TVA had operating revenues of about $10 billion. So I would doubt that any incremental cost would impact significantly TVA's bottom line by doing so.
I understand your viewpoint. And I will just opine that there's 154 different LPCs and 60 direct serve, and you're doing something for everybody. I understand your point.
But you only have one largest customer though. So.